Hello, video request right after the James Bond one, so I'm pretty high. Okay, have you ever, oh my glasses. Have you ever had a really bad weed trip? Also, it would be nice if you talked more about the legalization and how it will affect your life. Is the pot in any better quality than the ones you're used to smoke? Will you get high more often now that it is legal? And will you buy it legally even if the price is higher? Good video request, and it's cool that I'm doing it while I'm really high. I'm really high right now. Like it's hot, pretty much as high as I get. Like almost too high. So have I ever had a really bad weed trip? Well yeah, like when I, kind of like now, you know. I mean, I'm not too high now, but I'm kind of borderline too high, you know. And so if it gets a little bit worse than that, then yeah, that can be a bad weed trip and you just have to lay down. I guess you could call it a bad weed trip when you're knocked out, but you know, like I've been knocked out recently, but because I'm like out of shape and all of a sudden I'm working again. So, you know, if you have to sleep, you have to sleep. You know, I'm not going to blame it on the weed. No, I haven't. You know, to answer that question straight, I've not had a really bad weed trip. I had a really bad acid trip once, where I felt like my nerves inside my body were metal and grinding together and apart, and that was really good. And then when I get really high after that, it would be like cause a acid flashback, and so that would be a really bad weed trip that I've had. Yeah, but that hasn't happened for a really long time. And I've never had a really bad like mushroom trip. Okay. Also, it would be nice if you talked more about the legalization and how it will affect your life. I think I've talked about this more, but since this is before on my other vlogs, but since this is a video request, I should talk about it here. Legalized 20th of March, I think, and now it's the 20th of April? Has it really only been 1 month? Maybe it was the 20th of February. It was the 20th of February because at the beginning of March it was supposed to, so it's been 2 months. I've bought like 2 syringes fulls of the stuff called molasses. It's where they make the hash oil, which you smoke out of these pins. It's the cheapest way to smoke marijuana. When they build it, on the edges of the vat, they scrape away this darker, thicker stuff. It kind of looks like gooey resin, like bong resin or something you would like wet, you know, wet resin, bong resin. And it's about as strong. It's pretty strong by, you know, normal weed standards. I don't know the density of THC of it. I think normal bud is like 25-30%, and the hashish, which is also known as butter, is 90%, and that's the same density as the oil. The oil in one dispensary I went to is 45 for I think a third of a gram, and for the same amount it was 50 for the hash. You smoke hash out of a different pipe, but you can get really high off of the pen. So you can and it's super more affordable. For $45, I was going through maybe 2 weeks would last you, maybe a little less than 2 weeks for $45 dollar thing that you would inject into the thing. But I will, you know, since this is my lifestyle now, I will figure it out exactly, and I'll let people know. Plus I need to know which one I want to get, you know. The first one I went into was 45, the second one, the cheapest was 65, and then they had it in increments, like 85, 75, and then like 95 or something for the most expensive, but for the same amount, just based on it having more concentration of THC, which they didn't say, you know, at the first dispensary. So it's interesting, you know. You know, that'd be cool to get the really expensive stuff, and then if it actually is that much stronger, and you just have to take a lot less hits. But I think that I will be able to stay high or get really high off of just edible. The last place I went into, I was asking the guy about the molasses, and he's like, you know, the oil, the same oil that you put into your pen, that's the best way to ingest it orally. It's better than that molasses stuff. It's stronger, and he says it's already catalyst activated. It doesn't have to be heat activated. You don't have to put it into a tea. You can just put it in your mouth and you blaze. And yeah, it's true, because this morning, dude, I'll even show. I shall show. I shall be back in merely 1 second. This is actually a really good illustration. Here, I'm going to flip this around so you can see. Alright, so check this out. This is the little poker that sticks it into my pin. And this is the cap of the syringe. So I syringed this in, and then I put this in here because I just wanted to store it, and I think I saw some in the end of that I didn't want it to fall on the table and make a goo. So I put it in. So I get up and this morning and I see in there, it's pretty much filled to the top. You can see how big that is because it fell out of that into that and pretty much filled it up. So I was scooping it around, and then I put some of this like under my tongue and on my lip, inside of my lip, and go to work. And then I find at the end of the first house that we do that I'm like ripped, dude. I'm like really high, and I was like, wow, I like barely took any of that. Like, you know, like this compared to how much was in the thing that I bought was like a sixth, not more than a seventh, or sixth or seventh or an eighth, not more than an eighth. Not that much, man, which was $65 worth. So, you know, you could probably get wasted high for like $5 this way, which is perfect for when you go on like a bike ride and you can time it just right. You know, if that is, if you can, you know, if you're, I guess, accustomed to it or whatever enough to not get low blood sugar. But it's good for the pain, man. It is. Weed. And also, you know, it's fun to be high while you're on a bike ride. It's trippy. And if you're high all the time, you gotta be high when you're on a bike ride. So let's see here. What else? Oh yeah, so how has it affected my life? Well, I'm high all the time, dude. I'm way higher and I'm high all the time. And I feel a lot better and I have a lot more control. Well, which is being high all the time, but I feel a lot better more physically. It's a lot healthier because before I would like scrape pipes and smoke like nasty shit, and then I'd smoke out of pipes. Now I'm just smoking out of a vaporizer. So I can feel a lot better for my lungs. This special oil, the way it's extracted with butane, it has something to do with carbon monoxide. It's better for your lungs than smoking at the classical, like the out of the hash and stuff. So, and I feel better. Like I don't have that much asthma. I do when I ride my bike, but like normally day to day I'm fine. You know, I don't have to put anything in my lungs pretty soon, or a lot less. And when I stopped smoking out of the vaporizer, nothing. Be cool. Because I don't take an inhaler anymore. I stopped doing that a couple of years ago when they outlawed them. And I'm glad they did because the pills are just fine. So, and the only reason I have asthma in the first place is because I smoke weed. So, anyways, when I phase out, once I have a little bit more money or I get to figure out how to do it or whatever, or phase into it, yeah, I won't have to smoke anything at all. That's the goal. And I think it'll be cool. Totally affordable. So, it's cool. It's been awesome. I mean, to go back would be, it's just unfathomable. Is the pod any better quality than the ones you used to smoke? When I first started smoking weed back in like 91, you know, and then through the 90s, until maybe the late 90s, most of the weed that you would buy would be Mexican weed, which is darker brown, and it's like brick jammed together, and it doesn't get you as high, and you know, but that went extinct. You know, now it's just the kind bud, and now the kind bud is kind of like there's different grades, and the kind bud was kind of be the crappy that you get now looks like kind bud in those days. You know, light green, fluffy. They just, you know, they comes from more local now. You know, we don't get it from Mexico anymore. So, but now they have like lots of different strains, and it can get really strong and really good. Different colors. You can get purple if you want. You can get different colors of green. You can get different like levels of how much crystallization. I mean, you can choose, and you can get some really expensive and really strong stuff that tastes really good. That's a lot better high than just the hash. The hash is kind of like a high it's kind of like a resin high. It's like a relaxer high. Smoking weed is a lot more, psychedelic. And hash too. The hash high is really similar to the weed high, if not the same. Okay. Is the pot any? Yes, it is. Okay, so will you get high more often now that it's legal? Yeah, I have, but that's kind of what the idea was, to stay, to smoke as much as I want for like the first year of it being legal, It's like a big old party, a year-long party. Party like it's 2014, the whole year. So the year that went down in history for zillions of years. The great year of liberalization. So, will I smoke anymore? No, yeah, but I'm going to completely quit. See, it being legal is going to allow me to completely quit smoking weed altogether. Because I can now put this stuff under my tongue. There's no way I could have gotten this stuff when I was illegal. They're building all kinds of weed. They have candy, they have this, that. I'm going to go into the store. Oh, I can't film in that one. Well, I'll find the other one said you could. I just have to get permission. So, yeah, get permission to do the show. And show all the stuff that they have. But, yeah, they got lots of cool stuff. All kinds of stuff. Pills and everything. So, but this oil stuff is good. I think a lot of people don't like it because it's bitter taste, but I love that bitter taste because it means it's doing its magic. It's like, I can feel it going, yeah. I'm like, ooh. And I love the look of it and the taste of it. It's like golden. It's golden in color. I'll film it later on. But yeah. But anyways, yeah, I'll quit completely, and I'll quit even eating it, But I don't know how much I will eat it whenever I'm, Depends on what I want to do in my life, I can't be high and do stuff that requires. I can't be high and like understand audiobooks. If I want to be like on a bike ride and understand the audiobook, I need to be sober. If I want to be on a bike ride and like not have to deal with pain in my legs and get jazzed from a song, then yeah, I would be high. So, yeah, depends on. It's just purely utilitarian. You smoke weed for if you want to do something that's requires a lot of creativity and invention to invent new things and create and find ways to make something work, something artistic and visual and also for things that are really tedious that you would normally pull your hair out because it's just so boring and monotonous. It allows you to space out and just enjoy doing what you're doing and let the time go by, or to listen to enjoy music, or even enjoying. You can listen to like audiobook or whatever too high, but you're just going to understand like bits and pieces of it. So it's still valuable, but I forgot what I was talking about. So yeah, will I smoke more? Yeah, so in the future I'm going to be like doing a lot of work, trying to understand audiobooks and stuff, so I'll probably completely quit smoking and only do weed, when I need to, like, because I won't be doing tedious stuff anymore. Like when I'm writing next year, I'm not going to be doing any of this tedious stuff. I'm not going to be doing the timeline like that, which means I'll only be smoking weed in a utilitarian sense, which means in an actual sense when I'm on certain rides. So, I'll basically won't be smoking weed anymore next year. So it's, and which I think it being illegal would make it easier for me to do that, because I'll know that I can do it whenever I want, and and I can still enjoy being high. Sometimes you want to be high just to reconnect with the high, and if you reconnect with the high in a healthy situation where you're riding your bicycle and it's helping you physically, then you don't have to be smoking or using it anyway in the life beyond that, and so it doesn't have to get in the way of my mind. So it'll actually allow me to quit almost and just make it just that one thing in my life, but not something that controls me, something I can have control over. And I feel like I have total control over it now. I just love being high all the time, dude, because the stuff that I'm doing now requires me to be high. Like the really artistic stuff, I like it. And which turns into tedious stuff and it works together perfectly. Okay, so, and will you buy it legally even if the price is higher? Will I buy it illegally? I mean, like, from where? I don't know anybody. There's a store like right next to my house. Not so far from my house. Like, why would I buy it illegally? I mean, I guess I could get somebody who has a medical because it's cheaper for them. But why would I bother somebody just to save a few bucks? It's better to just go buy it myself. You know, no, I won't buy it illegally unless I have to. But I don't think I'll have to do that. So that's that. I just love having weed legalized, and I'm sure I have lots of other stuff that I haven't talked about and that I'll talk about. I'll probably include in my vlog since I'll be high for all of them this entire year. This is the year of me being high off of my ass. Woo! Okay, peace out.